back to my channel. My name is Jodie, and in this video I just thought I would do something a little bit different for the channel. So I was just kind of recently looking through my movie collection, and I guess I just kind of noticed there was a lot of movies that I just really love and that I haven't kind of spoken about on my channel because I guess like I'm doing like a lot of kind of hauls and you know, kind of new pickups and new watches and that kind of thing. So I just kind of wanted to think of a topic for a video that would just be like, let me kind of just showcase some just kind of my old favorite films, and I guess films that kind of mean a lot to me. So I just thought of this topic. So as you can probably see from the title, it's basically 5 films that kind of got me into film. So what that means is literally just 5 movies that I guess kind of started me on my kind of film appreciation kind of journey over the years. So yeah, I guess like probably most people, like I've always watched films ever since I was a child, like ever since I was really small. I've been watching movies, but I guess I've always kind of watched you know, films like kind of Disney films and then kind of kids and family films and everything like that as I was growing up. But I guess the films I'm going to talk about today, these are kind of ones that I guess kind of took me from watching those kind of childhood films into a kind of more kind of mature kind of film watching journey, and kind of starting to expose me to more kind of adult themes in films, and yeah, just really kind of just sparking that kind of curiosity to watch more films and to kind of explore different genres in films and that kind of thing. So I just decided to pick out 5 because these are probably like the most probably formative films, I would say, for me in my life. And so probably what they all have in common is that all these films are from either the late 90s or early 2000s, kind of early to mid 2000s, which is kind of I guess the time that I was kind of like a teenager and, you know, just starting to kind of explore a little bit more in terms of what films I was watching. So these were kind of the films that were really, I guess, important to me at that time, and just really kind of opened my eyes to kind of what film had to offer. So yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to get into the 5 titles. So I'd also love to know, like, in the comments kind of what your kind of 5 most kind of formative films would be. I guess the films that kind of opened your eyes to basically kind of loving film. And they don't necessarily have to be your 5 favorites. Like, I'm not saying that these are like my top 5 favorite films, but these are just ones that just opened your eyes to the possibilities that film had to offer, and made you more kind of curious to explore film. Having said that though, these are some of my absolute favorite films, and they're ones that will stay with me forever. But yeah, as I said, I would love to know kind of what your 5 kind of your 5 picks would be as well. So the first pick is it's a film from the year 2000, and yeah, this is definitely still one of my favorite films of all time. It's a film that just absolutely blew me away when I first saw it, and I know it's a film that's a little bit kind of contentious today, but I will just forever absolutely love this film. And the first film is American Beauty. So yeah, so I first came to this film probably, I'm guessing I was probably about 11 or 12 maybe when I first saw this film. So I saw this, it was just on TV, it was like on pretty late in the night, and yeah, like just literally from the opening scene, I just remember being just absolutely hooked. Just the music and the voiceover and everything, it just got me so curious as to what this film was going to be about. And yeah, from the minute I started watching this, I was completely hooked. And it kind of automatically just became a very effective film to me, and one that I kind of would think about over and over and over again. So it wasn't kind of long until then I actually picked it up on DVD as well. But so I'm pretty sure probably everyone watching this has seen American Beauty and probably don't need like an explanation or anything, but just in case anyone hasn't seen it. So American Beauty is it's like a dark comedy kind of drama, and it really is, and it's really an ensemble, but it really centers around the character of Lester Burnham, played by Kevin Spacey. And he's essentially a husband, a dad. He is kind of working a 9-to-5 job, living in a very beautiful home with his wife and his daughter, having a very kind of seemingly kind of perfect life. And this film is really about kind of just taking a look at what happens when he just starts to rebel and starts to kind of reject a lot of these aspects of his life, because everything is really, when you actually kind of look at it, everything is kind of fake. Like his marriage is pretty fake, like the relationship he has with his daughter is fake, him kind of going to work and kind of pretending everything is okay, like it's all pretty much a facade. So it's kind of really about what happens when you kind of unravel all that, and when you look kind of closer at what is actually going on in, you know, in someone's life. And it's really that kind of idea really kind of carries to most of the characters in the film. Like there's a lot of people who are kind of pretending to be something they're not, I guess. And what happens when you kind of take a closer look at that and kind of see that people aren't really all that they're cracked up to be, or all that they present themselves to be. I think that was what really kind of got to me when I first watched it, because I think we all kind of know people like that, you know, put on a front and put on a show for other people, but when you actually kind of take a closer look at things, like things aren't perfect, and you know, people have problems, and people have secrets, and people are, you know, not always what they pretend to be. And I just think that idea was just so utterly fascinating to me when I was younger, and I've never have seen that kind of done in a way that was so effective. I just absolutely loved everything about this, just from the music. The Thomas Newman score in this is still to this day one of my favorite scores of all time. I just think it's one of the most just beautifully kind of haunting scores. Then you have just the performances from Kevin Spacey, Annette Bening, Mina Suvari, Wes Bentley, Chris Cooper, Thora Birch. Like there's just a raft of just absolutely incredible performances in this, and just the setting and everything in this just really kind of spoke to me, I guess, when I was young. Yeah, I probably kind of related a little bit to the character of Jane as well at the time, because I guess you're just kind of going through like a very kind of strange kind of time when you're like a teenager, and you're kind of trying to understand yourself and what's going on in your own head, but yet you have these kind of societal pressures, and you kind of have to be you know, live up to kind of other people's expectations, and you know, there's a lot kind of going on. And I think I just really kind of gravitated towards her character. This is a film that, to be honest, I'm so happy was made when it was made, because I just feel like this film would not be made now. There is a very loud kind of objection to this film now at the moment, which really just baffles me, to be honest. I know there's a lot of people that think that this film has aged really badly, and that like how can we kind of sit there and watch a character like Lester Burnham? He's such an abhorrent character, and all this kind of, you know, all these kind of objections, whereas like no one ever said that film had to just portray kind of good behavior, and you know, no one said that film had to be propaganda to show how you have to behave. Like I like this film because people are imperfect, and they have flaws, and they do the wrong things, and they make mistakes, and you know, people are not inherently always good. People just do wrong things all the time, and this film shows that in spades. It's not afraid of, you know, kind of going down these kind of dark places and showing the worst of human behavior. Like that is, you know, that's not something that this film shies away from. Yeah, I just like when a filmmaker is not afraid to just put everything on film. You know, kind of characters acting shitty, bad decisions, bad characters, you know, just bad behavior, and just put it all out there and not lecture to the audience. Like we are intelligent enough to know and to kind of make up our own minds, and we don't need to be lectured to, we don't need to be told that this is wrong. And I kind of feel like if something like this was made today, I just feel like there would be so many lectures and just you know, so much kind of finger wagging coming with it, whereas like no one is perfect. Like literally not one of us watching this video or me is perfect. So I just think it's more fascinating to watch characters that are flawed on screen, and just to be able to kind of make up your own mind of what you think about these people. And yeah, I just just cannot understand the kind of objections. Well, I do understand them, but I just don't agree with them, to be honest. So yeah, I will never stop watching American Beauty. I just think it just gets better with age, to be honest. People might say it gets worse. I think it gets better. This film will always kind of be just a very important film from kind of when I was growing up, and it definitely opened a lot of doors for me in terms of the films that I became interested in, and just subject matter and everything that I, you know, was kind of more interested to look into. And you know, there was just so many aspects of this film that just, yeah, that just absolutely blew my mind when I first watched it, and still to this day have that same effect on me. So yeah, American Beauty just has to be included on my list, so this is the first pick. So my next pick is actually another dark comedy film. Probably everything that all these films have in common is they're all actually quite bleak. So I was literally going from watching like Matilda and Casper and Jumanji to like watching like the quite bleak films in my kind of early teens. But that probably kind of set a tone of films that I just kind of enjoyed as I kind of got older as well. And I just kind of still love depressing films to this day. But yeah, this one was one I would just watch over and over and over and over again, that I was absolutely obsessed with. And it's a film I don't really hear that many people talking about nowadays. And the film in question is this one called The Good Girl. So yeah, as I said, this one is a dark like a dark comedy, and this one I think is from, yeah, it's from 2002, and it stars, as you can see, Jennifer Aniston, Jake Gyllenhaal, we have John C. Reilly, John Carroll Lynch, Tim Blake Nelson, Zoe Deschanel, and Mike White. And yeah, another film that when I first watched it, it was just like an instant like addiction, and I just had to rush out and buy it on DVD. So this is another one of these kind of windows into someone's life, but this time it's kind of like the opposite, where Jennifer Aniston, she's married to the character played by John C. Reilly, and they have like a pretty, I guess, like kind of monotonous life together. You know, every day is kind of pretty much the same. Unfortunately, they're having trouble kind of getting pregnant, and you know, things are just kind of a little bit bleak. Jennifer Aniston's character works in a supermarket, and like the supermarket is very kind of bleak and very dull, and like every day is just kind of the same thing over and over again. But then she meets the character played by Jake Gyllenhaal, who is definitely not kind of fully mentally kind of there. He's very troubled. Yeah, he has a lot of kind of issues. He kind of relates to this character from the book Catcher in the Rye, Holden Caulfield. So he kind of I guess he kind of models his life on that character, and he and Jennifer Aniston's character kind of meet and kind of form like a relationship. And so yeah, this is kind of the first, I guess, little bit of excitement that she's had in like a really long time. But then kind of things kind of start to like unravel a little bit, and there's a lot of stress and a lot of kind of issues that kind of crop up from this relationship. And it's a really fascinating film, and it is it's incredibly bleak, but there's just this undercurrent of kind of comedy running through it that is just yeah, you just kind of can't help but laugh at some of the characters, especially the characters that work in this supermarket. There's a character played by Zoe Deschanel, and she's just this kind of like checkout girl, but she's just so bored that she just makes all these announcements over the tannoy just to kind of entertain herself, and she just says all these random things to customers, and she's just very entertaining. But you can just kind of see that all of this humor and everything is born out of kind of just boredom, and yeah, just that sort of kind of mundane day-to-day life. And yeah, I think that was, to me, just what was so utterly kind of fascinating to me about this film, was just seeing this kind of very kind of depressing kind of day-to-day life, where people kind of were trying to find just these little glimmers of fun and excitement and joy and all that kind of thing. And I guess kind of really the moral of the story is it kind of better to kind of chase those little moments of joy and kind of happiness, or is it better to kind of stay on like the straight and narrow, even if your life is just not kind of pleasing to you, and if you, even though you want to change your life, is it kind of better just to stay on that road? And I just think that's what I found so fascinating about this film. Yeah, I just absolutely adore this film, and I can't remember if I kind of had been watching Friends when I first saw this, but I definitely was obviously very aware of Friends, and I'm sure I would have seen episodes and everything like that. So kind of when I saw this first, but I had watched a good few Jennifer Aniston films previous to this, and kind of knew she was very good at, you know, comedic acting, and she has great comedic timing, and you know, she is a very talented actress that way. But this film just kind of blew me away in terms of just how well she kind of suits this character, and kind of suits this kind of more serious character. Yeah, she really sells this character. It's fantastic, and yeah, the performances by all the cast are great, especially Jake Gyllenhaal in this is absolutely fantastic. So this is a really underrated one that just completely fascinated me when I first watched it, and it's still one that to this day that I absolutely love. So I would say if anyone has not seen this, if you're into your dark comedies, definitely a really underrated one that a lot of people sleep on. So yeah, one that I would highly recommend as well, The Good Girl. So next is another film with Jake Gyllenhaal actually, and obviously he was kind of an actor that was very you know, up and coming at the time, where I kind of was starting to kind of check out all these films. So a film that I'm sure needs no introduction, the film is Donnie Darko. So I have owned this film on DVD and everything in the past, but yeah, I picked it up on this really nice Arrow edition, and yeah, like I think probably like a lot of people kind of my age, kind of when they first watched it, you know, in their kind of early teens, like this film was just, again, just utterly kind of fascinating to me. And I think this was probably the first film that I watched that was not kind of just very kind of linear and very, you know, had a kind of start, middle and end, and it was all very kind of clear and kind of clean cut. Like this film is probably still to this day, it is probably a little bit of a mystery. There's not, you know, I'm not claiming 100% that I kind of understand every single thing that happens in this film, but that's kind of what I love about this film, because you can kind of watch it, anytime you watch it you can kind of take another interpretation from it. So yeah, this was probably the first film that I watched that was kind of like that was a little bit mysterious. It was not completely linear, it was not, you know, clean cut. It was, you know, kind of, yeah, it was just one of these ones that you have to kind of think about a little bit more, and it kind of leaves you kind of thinking and kind of wondering, did I get that, did I understand that, trying to figure it out. And I think that's what I absolutely loved about it. But there was something still, even if you didn't kind of fully get it, there was something still so captivating about it. And I think that's probably down to the acting, and just the way the film is shot, and I think the music as well. The music is just so creepy all the way through. You know, there's just so many elements from this film that are just absolutely haunting and beautiful, and you just cannot look away when you watch this film. Yeah, another one that for me, you know, when I just first watched it, it was just I probably thought it was just one of the most incredibly fascinating films I had ever seen. And it was just, again, it was kind of one of these films that just made me want to explore more films like this and find more films like this, and you know, kind of find films that were a little bit more challenging. Definitely this has kind of become more of like a common film now, whereas, you know, at the time for me, I'd never seen anything like this, and you know, it really left me with an appetite just to explore and to try kind of new things when it came to film. So yeah, this is a film that will always kind of have that kind of impact on me, and I'll always kind of look back on it with just that kind of nostalgia and that kind of affection from watching it when I was young. And even to this day, when I can just sit down and put this on, and it's still as incredible to me now as it was the first time I watched it. So yeah, just, it needs, like, doesn't need to be said, but if you have not seen Donnie Darko, it's definitely one you need to get on straight away, because it is still a phenomenal film. So yeah, Donnie Darko is the next pick. So then next we have another kind of film that was on kind of on TV kind of late night that I probably shouldn't have been watching. I probably watched this film maybe when I was maybe about 11 or 12 for the first time, and it was always a film that I always kind of sought out. If it was ever on TV, I would have to watch it, and it was just another completely fascinating, captivating watch for me. And I finally got it on DVD probably a couple of years later. I was not old enough to buy this on DVD, but I managed to I don't know, I must have manipulated my nanny into buying it for me in Tesco one day, because it is an 18s, but yeah, she bought it for me, and I have had this copy ever since, and this is a well loved and well watched film. And the film in question is this one, 13. And this one is I'm sure probably a lot of people have seen this, but any kind of girl that probably grew up around the same time as me, you have seen this film. I just know it because this was like the holy grail kind of growing up teenager film for me when I was younger. This film, it is called 13. It is an 18s film. Well, it was 18s in Ireland anyway. It could have been maybe 15s in the UK, but in Ireland it was 18s. But I feel like it shouldn't be 18s. Like, I feel like this is a film that younger people should be watching, because it is just one of these kind of cautionary tales, I guess, of kind of falling in with the wrong crowd and basically kind of growing up too soon. And there's something about it that it kind of does it in a very, what you think at the start is a very, very cool way. You kind of nearly want to be like these girls who are, you know, kind of doing things they're not supposed to be doing. They're kind of starting to drink, they're staying out late, they're doing drugs, doing kind of all sorts of things that they shouldn't be doing at that age, or ever really. Like, they're kind of robbing, and like they're doing all sorts of kind of mad stuff that, like, I guess when you're kind of that age, you kind of think it's really cool, and they nearly kind of set it up that it kind of looks really kind of glamorous, and you know, it kind of looks, you know, they kind of make it look very trendy, and then like literally everything just kind of takes a turn, and it just kind of snowballs, and it goes down this kind of bad path that really kind of makes you kind of go, oh, actually maybe I won't kind of take that road, and you know, maybe I kind of don't want to end up like that. And a lot of kind of very bleak elements to this film as well, and it just really shows yeah, just all of the very, very grim kind of depressing sides of kind of growing up and being a teenager and kind of making friends, and just all of these kind of pressures and everything that that teenagers kind of have to go through. And it really made me grateful that I didn't grow up in Hollywood, because this is where this film is set, and oh my god, the stuff they get up to is absolutely outrageous. But such a fascinating watch, such a bleak watch. Again, like at the start you kind of think, oh, this is cool, you know, these girls kind of hanging out and they're going shopping and they're kind of doing all these mad stuff, and then just everything just literally completely nosedives, and it is just the most captivating thing to watch. It was just another film that at the time that I first watched this, I just had never seen anything like this before. You know, when you're kind of just used to watching, like, again, all these kind of kids movies, Disney and all this kind of thing, and then you turn this on and you're kind of nearly at the age where these characters are. It's literally the most kind of interesting thing, the most fascinating thing to watch. And yeah, it's just a film that to this day, like when I watch it, and I'm 32, and even when I watch this like today, it still shocks me at just how far things can go, you know, and how quickly things can go wrong. Yeah, this film to me was definitely one of those films that left a massive impression on me, and definitely opened my eyes, not just to kind of the behaviors and everything that were going on in the film, but just the actual film itself. And everything in this film just works for me. Like, the performances are incredible, the music, the even the way it's shot and everything is just so it kind of feels very not what's the word, not amateur, but it's very indie kind of in its style. And you know, that just, everything about that kind of fascinated me, and I just wanted to watch more films like this. I've kind of never really found kind of a film that deals with this subject matter you know, that has kind of outdone this one for me, to be honest. This will kind of still always reign as kind of the kind of the cautionary tale kind of teenager film, what not to do film. And for that, yeah, it is just an absolutely incredible watch. Fantastic performances from Evan Rachel Wood, Nikki, what's her name, Nikki Reed, and Holly Hunter is in this as well as Tracy's mother. Oh, the performance that she gives in this is just absolutely outrageous. It's incredible. So any Holly Hunter fans as well that haven't seen this one, you need to watch this one, even if just for her performance. Yeah, an absolutely fantastic film, and one that definitely kind of shaped my view of film when I was growing up. So another incredible one. 13 had to be on the list. And then my final pick for this list is one that I kind of watched like randomly. I picked this up on DVD. It was basically an ex-rental that I picked up in a basically like a local kind of movie rental store in my local town, and it was basically in one of the bargain baskets, and I just picked this one up because it looked fascinating, and went home, had no kind of expectations about what this was going to be, and it like literally was like an instant favorite, instant classic, and one of the most like affecting films I had kind of ever watched at that time. This film came out in 2004. I think I probably watched it probably about 2005, maybe 2006. I think I was probably 13 when I watched this. And yeah, the film in question is this indie gem of a film called Mean Creek. So yeah, this film, as I said, it came out in 2004. It's an independent film from the director Jacob Aaron Estes, and oh my god, yeah, I was not kind of sure what to expect when I first watched this film, but I don't think I had ever cried as much at a film in my whole life until I saw this. Yeah, it was definitely the biggest like emotional roller coaster of a film, and a film that yeah, it just completely got me absolutely hooked and fascinated by like what kind of independent film could do, and kind of what kind of filmmaking you could do like on a lower budget. Because it is an independent film, but oh my god, it does not lack with on emotion and performances and depth and just everything. Just this film has absolutely everything. So yeah, I'm not sure how many people watch it and have seen this film. I would absolutely love to know if you have seen this and what you thought of it. But yeah, this film, if you haven't seen it, it is basically about a kind of group of friends. There is one of the guys has a younger brother, and the younger brother, he's played by Rory Culkin, and he's essentially kind of getting beat up in school by this kind of bully kid, and in order to kind of get revenge on the bully, they decide that they're going to invite the bully out on like a boating trip, and basically they're going to kind of pretend that they're going out for the younger guy's birthday. And then when they go out, they're going to basically kind of strip him, throw him into the water, and then make him run home with no clothes on. And that's essentially the plan that they come up with. And yeah, pretty much everything that you can imagine goes wrong. I don't want to kind of say too much because it will obviously be a big spoiler, but yeah, I like this film. When I first watched this film, it just absolutely like broke my heart, and yeah, it was just one of these films that I could not stop thinking about it, and it just became one that I rewatched over and over and over again. Yeah, I just absolutely adore everything about this film, from the performances from all the kids. Like I can't tell you just how good the kids in this film are, and like the teenagers, and just how incredible they are as actors, and how well they kind of keep this film together. And then the music, there's a score by Tom and Andy in this film that is just absolutely gorgeous, and just really sets the tone and everything so beautifully. But yeah, this film, like, what can I say, it was just one of these ones that just absolutely like blew my mind when I first watched it. It became an instant favorite, and it'd be like that movie that you know, when you're kind of young and you watch like an incredible film and all you want to go do is go into school and tell your friends, you're like, oh my god, I watched this amazing film last night, you have to watch it. I'm pretty sure I made all my friends watch it and they all really liked it, and just became this film that I just kind of became obsessed with, and it kind of became my whole personality for a while. I was just absolutely like just enamored by this film, and I really do think like it kind of changed my view on film totally. And again, it just kind of like all these films that I've talked about, it just kind of opened my eyes to what kind of film could do, and opened my eyes to like exploring more film that I may not have necessarily done before. And it definitely kind of got me more interested in kind of indie films. I definitely kind of explored a lot more directors, a lot more films that you know, I'm so grateful now that I had a chance to explore when I was younger. And it's all because I watched this, and it just kind of gave me that kind of passion and that kind of level of interest that I wanted to kind of watch more films like this. And yeah, I just kind of craved films that could just make me feel like this film did, and there's kind of nothing like it. I think it's just the best thing about being a film fan is when you find a film that it just makes you feel all the emotions, and you just kind of keep craving that kind of feeling. You want to find more films that do that to you. So yeah, that's what this did for me. It was just, as I said, it was an instant favorite for me, and still a film that even when I watch it today, it still kind of gives me kind of goosebumps and just gives me that kind of nostalgia. And yeah, just a film that I'll kind of just treasure forever, to be honest. It doesn't matter how old I get, I just think I will always look back on this film with just such I kind of get like, it's kind of weird to say, but just kind of such gratitude for just how much this kind of changed my life, and how much it kind of changed my view of film. And it just changed it just kind of pointed me in a certain direction of films that I would kind of follow pretty much into my adult life. And it's still a film that you know, just means so much to me even today. And yeah, as I said, that I'm always just kind of going to treasure. So this pretty much was a no-brainer for the list. And yeah, probably the film that yeah, the film that kind of made the most, I guess, the most impact on me when I was young, and kind of changed the trajectory of my film journey, I guess, you could say. So yeah, Mean Creek is one that will just always kind of be forever in my kind of up there in my favorite films. So yeah, that is the list. So here is the 5 films, a little stack of the films that I just picked as essentially the 5 films that made me fall in love with film, and kind of made me, I guess, the film fan that I am today, and kind of really really kind of shaped me in terms of the films that I would kind of watch into the future. So yeah, those all those films are just well loved films, well watched films, and films that I will just always return to. Again, no matter how old I get, I will always kind of return to these films as just being kind of very formative and very important films to me. So yeah, as I said, I would love to know kind of what your picks would be, and what films would you kind of consider those kind of formative films for you. I know obviously everyone is going to be coming from different kind of periods of time, you know. Like, I'd love to know if there's anyone maybe that's a little bit younger than me, or anyone that's a little bit older than me, that have come from kind of different you know, different kind of eras, that would have films from your time that would be kind of different to mine. Obviously mine are very concentrated in the early 2000s, so I'd love to know if you have, you know, grown up in a different time period, what would your picks be. But yeah, just I would love to know what those films would be for you, because I just love hearing, I'd love kind of knowing the films that kind of, I guess, make a person, and the films that have had huge impacts on people as they've kind of grown up. So yeah, definitely please let me know in the comments below. But yeah, if you are still watching this video, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I really look forward to reading all your comments and responding as always. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and I really look forward to speaking to you in the next video. Bye.